welcome back to the channel. Your boy Omar. And if you're new to the channel, hit the sub button. Go to 1K sub. Let's get right into it. So, it's been a minute since I talked about the Magic. It's just I haven't had really much to say. It's been, just waiting to see what happens, whether see who gets hurt, what the second part of the schedule looks like, and after seeing what that looks like, I think I'm done defending the. I don't know if I'm done defending completely the competing portion because looking at that schedule, it looks rough. What do you think? What do you think so far? Where we're at right now?
I saw that people were ranking the Magic as the hardest team team schedule to close out the second half of the season. So that wasn't really uplifting. It's already been a tough season, and to see that, we were supposed to have an easy first half that didn't go well for us. So
Yeah,
to see that we have the hardest schedule remaining, it's not gonna look good, bro.
yeah. The Magic are currently 13-21, 13 in the Eastern Conference. But under that same breath, they're only 3 games out of the eighth spot. The East have been very, very forgiving. Because a lot of teams have been dealing with COVID. A lot of teams in the Eastern Conference have been very screwed over. Boston has not reached their potential because of players being in and out of the lineup. Same thing with Miami. They're getting their act together though. And especially Atlanta with injuries. They've been completely taking the win out of. So like the Eastern Conference really hasn't been what we expected them to be. So you have teams like the Knicks who have really have that in problem with the exception of Mitchell Robinson being the fourth seed as of now. Charlotte taking a step up. The only team that I think is really disappointing is Atlanta. That's the only thing that I look at it like they've been relatively healthy, so I don't get why they play so poorly.
Mm.
But with the Magic, with losing Ennis for I don't know how long with another groin injury, what do you think? Do you think it's time to mail it in?
I It's
Because
tough because
we already secured Bush the All Star spot, so
it's tough because I don't want to sit here and say I want to see the Magic lose games, or forfeit games. But it's like the season was over before it began. Let's be real. First couple of games seemed like amazing. It was too good to be true, and it was, because then Markel went down, and when he went down, everything went down with him. And even though we didn't want it to admit it to ourselves, like, okay, we can still salvage some part of the season, we really couldn't. Because without Ji and Markel, the cornerstones of this franchise, it was just gonna be like this was gonna be like another 2014, 2015 season, basically like not really playing for much, not really playing for anything.
on the bright side, Bamba's getting minutes now. Maul looked offensively, he's looking really solid. I'm just waiting for him to get his timing down defensively, and then I'll be happy. That's all I really want out of this year. At this point, is to see most development on the defensive end because I think he'll be fine offensively. It's just because his time is still a little off. I think.
I feel like seeing him against the Jazz, man, like that put a smile on my face, bro. It was so big. Like to see Fournier throw that lob and to see him get it with the left hand, which is kind of tough sometimes with the left hand. To see him throw it down, bro, it was everything. I'm like, yes, like,
That's
dude.
all frustration. He put a lot of frustration to that one,
Oh, you could see it after he dunked it. He was pumped. He was ready to go.
and he played most of his minutes against Gobert.
Mm, exactly.
He made Gobert pay a couple of times. In the fourth quarter, it was Bamba's back-to-back threes. I mean, they get a little bit interesting until Donovan Mitchell said it's over.
I mean, that first couple of minutes of the fourth quarter. First of all, if it looked like we had a chance to be at near towards the end of the fourth quarter to kind of come back a little bit, and that was only possible because of Mo Bamba. His back-to-back three-pointers, bro, were the only thing saving us. Because when the Jazz were making their big-ass run, it was Bamba who hit back-to-back three-pointers who actually did something. So I was happy for the kid. he needed it. Granted, he was very wide open both times because he made Gobert pay, but still, I was happy to see him make a shot.
Yeah, the Magic are not going to win many games, especially with the guys who are right now. If Fournier and Ross aren't having magnificent games, Magic aren't going to win many games, especially against the strike that the team we're playing right now. Brooklyn really showed what this team is really going to look like against good teams.
I mean, like you're right. When Terrence Ross doesn't play well, we really have no chance of winning. We need his shooting. If he's not shooting it well, what chance do we have to win games?
So I saw a lot. I saw a couple comments which really like made sense to me after rewatching the Jazz game was running everything through Terrence Ross, which I get why it's doing this right now, especially when Bacon's not in the lineup. There's no one else that can create his own because you have Chase and Randall, and that's really it. That can create his own offense. Running like everything through Ross puts a lot of pressure on Ross and doesn't have give him a chance to get rhythm. So it's tough
So
to
I
get Mo positions and to be able to shoot the ball. There's no other way to run the offense except using Mo as a screen.
and that's the thing. Like something I'm always wondering to myself is like, how are we supposed to help Bamba when the only person who could probably set things up for him isn't even in the game? Cole Anthony and Markel are the only ones that I can see are like actual floor spacers and general. Like they lead this team because they can play make. Dwayne Bacon isn't going to do anything
But
for
my,
playmaking.
my,
Terrence
my
Ross isn't going to do it.
but my thing is that Bacon the when if I see more of it giving Bamba more space is when Bacon's on the floor with that unit that there's not gonna be three people on Ross. There has to be Bacon for whatever you want to say about Dwayne Bacon, he's been pretty good this year. He's able to get to the rim whenever he wants. He doesn't get foul calls for whatever reason. He's proved to be a pretty good shooter. So defense have to pay attention to him. But that's the only guy off the bench right now, other than Terrence Ross. And in order to get Ross open, Bamba's being used as a screener, which I also want to give credit to Bamba there. He from the start of the year to now, he's done so much better setting screens.
I mean, Bacon. Here's the problem I have with Bacon. At times he forces it. He's like another Fournier. He'll just force the bad shots. Yeah, sometimes you're right. He doesn't get the calls, but he also takes horrible shots at times. Other times it looks like okay, he can create for himself. He can be a team player, and he is a decent shooter at most. But I like some players they just don't. There's five people on the court, and Terrence Ross and Dwayne Bacon, especially those two, act like they're the only ones on the court at times. And I don't like when Terrence Ross just chucks up shots, especially if he's missing. I know he's that type of player that keeps shooting it until he gets one, but that doesn't help winning because then you're just wasting possessions over and over again.
That's true. But I think at this point in the year, there's like nothing else this team can do because all the other offensive pieces are out. Anthony's out, so that takes off Michael Carter chances to create offense. You have Eric Gordon that's out, so like there's really nothing this team can do, especially with James Ennis is out because I like James Ennis a lot. This team's just they're doing the most they can. So I'm not mad or disappointed at this point. I'm just understanding. I'm at that side of the grief stage for this year. I'm just understanding and just watching for the little things, watching Chuma play. Can't wait till he gets into the starting lineup. Just waiting for his minutes restriction to be taken off. That's about it. Because at the end of the year, I'll be happy. Whatever the Magic records is, if I'm watching the starting five of Cole Anthony, whoever's at the two, whether it be a trade or if it's still 11, Chuma, AG, and Vooch. I'll be happy.
So you want AG to be here after the trade deadline?
Okay. So, I know me and you have disagreed about Evan and AG, whether or not they should be traded. So,
Yeah.
but when I've been accused now, especially if I don't know why, being an Evan Fournier fan. I think Evan Fournier is underrated, and I'm not going to be part of the hatred for Fournier that he gets when it's clear this team is a lot better with him on the floor. So, but the thing I'm going to argue with AG is Aaron Gordon is not an expiring deal. He's played pretty well this year. So the Magic, all I'm saying is the Magic should not force a trade to get Aaron Gordon off his team if it's not going to make sense for them. Evan Fournier, on the other hand, is you have that talk with Fournier now, whether he wants to be gone after this year or stay. And with that information, you move him because he is an expiring deal. And you just don't want to let him walk free. That's what I mean when I say double major. Don't force a bad trade for Aaron Gordon. That's right. Because whether he's the for moving forward, or if it's Chuma, or if it's off the draft, you don't have to move AG to force for, let's say, an expiring deal in the second round. You don't have to.
Okay, I'm with you. I agree. Don't force a bad trade. I'm with you there. We have a history of forcing bad trades. I'm with you. Don't force a bad trade. If the trade isn't there, don't push it.
And I think we're not going to see the reason this front office has been very taking it slow is because what Alex Martin did with Rob Hennigan. I'm not 100% sure if all of the two idiotic trades Hennigan made were all Hennigan. They could have been pressure from Alex Martin to make the deal. And I think that's the reason this management core right now with Pelton and Weltman is being allowed to take it slow and steady and not make trades just to make trades.
The thing is, I give respect to Hennigan because he knows talent. He drafted Oladipo. He took a chance on Aaron Gordon, which I think maybe we all would have taken a chance, to be honest. His potential looked promising. Alfred Payton. Let's not go with Mario Hezonja. That doesn't really count. He 26. I think 2016 was Hennigan, no? Or that was that.
Hennigan was Sabonis.
Hennigan he did take Isaac, right?
No, 2016 was Sabonis.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, so he took Sabonis. This guy knows his talent. So I see what you're saying. Maybe the trades were kind of forced by Alex Martins. But I mean, I don't want to see the front office be conservative anymore. Yeah, they traded Alfred Payton for a second round pick. That's probably dumb. That probably wasn't a good move. But I want to see that they have the ability to go make a blockbuster trade. I feel like we're at that time with this front office where it's okay, yeah, they got Fultz for a second round pick in Jonathan Simmons. What else have they done?
So I'm asking with that same argument, are you willing to make a bad trade just to see the trade happen? Because it takes two parties to agree to a trade.
I want Fournier and Gordon off this team. That's my stand. Fournier's it's been time. He played well off Markel at the beginning of the season, but that wasn't ever going to be sustainable. Okay, and even then,
I'm going to say this about Fournier before you get to Gordon. There's going to be a point down the road when this point's going to be needing an Evan Fournier on the roster. Someone who can shoot the ball and attack the rim off playing off the ball. And when Evan Fournier is not on this team, I'm going to remember everyone who put someone traded on Evan. I'm just saying that. Do I think it's time to move Evan? I don't know. I think if Fournier wants to move on, trade him. But a player like Evan Fournier, it's always going to be needed on a great team.
Okay, I'm not saying Fournier isn't a good player. He is. He can shoot the ball. He can take the ball off the dribble and get it to the rim. Here's the thing. How many years has he done that? And where has that gotten us as a team?
Because
Fournier's
been playing out of role.
No. He's playing in his role. He just doesn't fit what we're trying to do anymore. All he does is that freaking Euro tandem with.
But they put him out of his role. This year was the first year that he's been in the right role. This is the first time. Because other than this, he's been asked to be the best player or the best ball handler. Because before Markel, who was it? Alfred Payton, DJ obviously. Except Alfred Payton could not shoot the ball. So the pick and roll was never going to work. If you're going to double boost all the time, you're going to force EP to shoot. So you would rely on Fournier to play out of his role, and that's the reason you got the hatred. But I bet you if Joe Harris played in the same role that Evan Fournier was asked to play at the beginning of the year, people would love Joe Harris here.
Okay, here's the thing. Evan Fournier just doesn't fit what we're trying to do anymore. He always has that need to always pass the Vooch. Nobody else. Unless it's 20 seconds into the shot clock and he just has to push the ball to somebody else because he's getting double team. Otherwise, he doesn't really pass the ball. He just doesn't like fit with this young group. He'll hinder Cole Anthony's development. We were talking today about Jalen Green. Who was that other guy? Cade Cunningham. If we drafted one of those guys, just say we drafted one of those guys, what are they supposed to do? Play behind Evan Fournier?
Okay, but at that point, yes. Okay, at that point, yes. But what I'm saying is Evan Fournier again. I think it's the name Evan Fournier that gets a lot of people mad. But again, at the beginning of this year, Fournier was taking around like 9 shots a game, playing off EP, playing off Markel, and it wasn't just passing the Vooch. But right now, yes, that's what you're seeing, because teams are daring guys like Dwayne Bacon to take the ball off the dribble, forcing other players that aren't necessarily fit to take off the dribble, forcing Chuma. Chuma isn't ready to hit him with the crossover and try to force a shot. Fournier has been used to it. That's what Clifford's asking to do. Fournier's playing out of role again. The moment Markel went down, AG was playing out of role. And that's the something that made playing Aaron Gordon. You saw when Frank Vogel said it. He's the next Paul George. No, that's not what he is, and that's what he looked like out of role. A lot of these guys look a little bit worse than they are because they're playing out of role. So you're telling me you wouldn't want Evan Fournier off the bench? Just answer me that question.
Tell me, would you want to play off the bench?
On a great team, that you have to ask again.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you have to ask Fournier. That's what you have to ask Fournier. Are you willing to take this role? He was beginning of willing to take the role to play off the ball. You have you have to have that conversation, and depending on
we can't really pay him so much money to come off the bench, though.
Again, this is the conversation you have to have now. And if the answer is no, he wants to have a major role on somewhere else, then that's fine. But you don't know the answer to whether or not he'll take that role.
But tell me, if Fournier really said he was okay with coming off the bench, you know the problem I'd have? Coach Cliff would rely on Fournier. He'd rely on Fournier before our younger players. They should be the main priorities. And I'm not 100% on Cliff giving the keys to the younger players to lead this franchise. That's why I want Fournier off this team. Because if Fournier is gone, the development of our younger guys are just going to be that much better. Yeah, we're going to suck. Our shooting's going to be worse. I know that. Because Fournier's a good shooter. I know he is. But he takes horrible shots at times. He's a horrible defender. He plays with no hustle. He breaks off defense down so much.
I wouldn't say.
What?
I wouldn't say he's a horrible defender.
Oh, man, bro, what?
I wouldn't say he's a horrible. I wouldn't say horrible.
I see him trying at times, and then other times I see him lazy. And sometimes I see him leaving his player to come double team another player for no reason. And then his player will be wide open and he'll hit the shot. And he makes bad decisions on defense. I'll just say that. He makes bad decisions on defense.
Okay.
And we don't need someone like that. We don't need him anymore, bro.
Okay. All right. I'll let it go. I'm just gonna remember this. I'm just gonna remember when the Magic down the road, they're gonna be missing that piece that's able to attack off a pass off the dribble, and I'll be like, damn. I remember Fournier being able to do that. That's all.
Okay, look at Donovan Mitchell. Look at what he did to us last night. I have no faith Evan Fournier could ever do something like that for this team. Take over a game like that.
That's what I'm saying, but I'm not saying hope Fournier becomes that. No, I'm just saying.
But coach will rely on him though. That's what I'm scared.
At that point, if that's still the point, then that's a problem with Clifford. But that's not what I'm saying. I've seen Fournier take smaller roles. I've seen him do it this year. So if he's going to become the sixth man or a six-man archetype, then I'm fine with it. And if at that point Clifford's gonna have to make the adjustment to rely on other guys. But let's just move. Let's move on to aging now. What do you have to say about Aaron Gordon?
Okay.
And I'm gonna
You
say this before you say anything about Aaron Gordon. I'm just gonna say Aaron Gordon has never played with a point guard and a small forward that can shoot the ball.
I knew you're gonna
He's never had both.
Okay. Aaron Gordon has had the time to develop. He was drafted in 2014. He's had the time to develop. He hasn't developed a respectable 3-point shot. He's gotten worse with his free throws. He plays good defense, really good defense. He's a great playmaker nowadays. It just ain't working now. He I don't know what to say. I wanted him to work. You know, when we appeared on that first podcast together, I heard you talk about AG. And I'm like, okay. And at that point, I wanted to move on from him, but I still gave him a chance at the beginning of the year. And he continuously lets me down after every time I think, oh, maybe he'll turn things around. Maybe he'll turn things around. He never turns things around. And I'm done with this guy. I'm done hoping. I'm done feeling. I couldn't care less if he went somewhere else and became into this next level star. I'm done with this guy. He has never improved at all. He looks like the same guy that came out of the draft. He plays great defense. His playmaking's improved. He can't do anything else. He
I
just can't.
again, I don't. I just think again, Aaron Gordon's another guy who's been asked to play out of a role because Aaron Gordon is shooting around 33, 34% from three this year. I'll take
It
that.
never felt like that, bro. It never felt like that.
And I'm
I
just
know you
saying,
watch games. It never felt like that.
I'm saying Aaron Gordon isn't supposed to be a number one, number two option guy. He's not supposed to be that.
I think he was shooting 33, 34% because of that one game against the Cavs. That one game against the Cavs. You know a game where
Whatever it is, he's shooting 33, 34% from beyond the line. That's what he's shooting. But with AG, what you have to make the decision, I think, is this offseason, whether you drop a Jonathan Kaminga, which we'll talk about the draft a little later, Kaminga or Jalen Green. If you drop the wing, then you make the decision with AG with what you want to do, whether it's Chumo Kiki stepping into that role. You have to have that conversation with the same conversation you're going to have with Fournier. It's the same conversation you have with Aaron Gordon. What do you think the role future he's going to have with this team and whether or not he wants to take that role? And what improvement what he's going to look like towards the end of the year. Because we're not done watching Gordon this year. I very well expect Gordon to be on this team post trade deadline, and he'll be back in the rotation. And we'll have this conversation again about Aaron Gordon when we see him again.
Oh, we will have another conversation.
With the shooter in Chumo Kiki and with the shooter and Colleen thing. Hopefully at that time.
It's like the core group right now is Aaron Gordon, Evan Fournier, and Nikola Vucevic. As we talked about, those three guys are the same guys remaining from the Hennigan era. Now, obviously, nobody wants to move on from Vooch, okay? But one of, if not both, Fournier and Gordon got to go. They got to go.
Don't get me wrong. I'm convinced Fournier's gone by the deadline.
Oh, you're convinced he's gone?
I'm convinced, especially the Magic are way out of the.
We're on the right page. We're on the right page then.
All I'm saying is a guy like Fournier is going to be needed down the line. That's all I'm saying.
I just want to move on from Evan Fournier so we can draft a shooting guard that can truly take this team to new heights. Because we've seen the same song and dance from Aaron Gordon, Fournier, Vooch. And I know the front office won't consider this, but we got to consider moving on from Vooch. His trade value is so high. We'd actually be, I won't say we're dumb, but we wouldn't be doing justice to this franchise if we didn't at least test his value.
I honestly don't think if Vucevic's trade is that high. I really don't.
Really?
I don't think so. Especially what I've been seeing a Romeo Lane for the trade exception in the first. I don't think it's that high.
Like I'm not saying we gotta get players. I'm just talking about if we could get some nice ass first round picks, then I'd say we pull the trigger on a Vooch trade. Because
remember, Vooch is 30, so there's only one type of team that's gonna be making a trade for Nikola Vucevic. Is gonna be a team that once he gets Vooch, they're ready to compete for a ring. That's the one type of team that's gonna trade for Vucevic.
I mean,
and at that point, do you really want that first rounder? And that picks him probably between 25 and 30.
Not like a mid to late first round pick. I'm talking about like a high lottery pick.
That's not gonna happen. That's not the type of team you're gonna be dealing with.
That's true. But if because like I think about his value being so high. He doesn't have a long term future with the Magic. I know people are like, yo, he has got to retire with the team. He doesn't have a long term future here. He's already 30. Like it's not it hasn't been working. I love seeing him play well and everything. I love seeing him score the ball and everything. It's fun, but we've seen this for so long. When do we actually tell ourselves, okay, it's time to move on?
If you
That's
think
what I
about
got
it,
against Fournier, Gordon, and
if
Vooch.
you honestly think Bamba's ready to play 30 to 36 minutes a night, then I guess.
I'm not I'm not saying we're gonna be great. We're obviously gonna suck, or who knows, maybe we'd be actually be pretty good. But that's the thing. It's inevitably, and I messed up the word. It's eventually gonna happen. Once you
Yeah,
move
yeah,
on to a player,
that eventually is when Mo Bamba's ready to start.
yeah. But we can't keep waiting. You know what I mean? We're making it worse on our younger players like Ji, Markel, Cole, Chuma. If we
The
just
first two
and
guys you
Bamba.
named aren't playing this year. That's why this looks so bad. That's the reason it looks so bad because this team
Like
isn't playing.
if we had every single player healthy, multiple people's development would be hindered because he'd only look for Fournier, Gordon, and Vooch, which
But
hasn't
that's
been
not
working.
true. Because that's not what the team looked like at the start of the year. That's not what it looked like.
Bro, like Chuma wasn't doing anything at the start of the year. He barely got playing time. Cole Anthony, yeah, he looked good off the bench. Markel was leading this team.
But Chuma was on a minutes restriction at the same time at the start of the year.
That's true. But I get so pissed off when I see players like Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, like being so good in Boston, seeing Trae Young blossom in Atlanta. Like I want to have that. I want to have young talent that can show us they can actually play basketball. I don't want to see us be in the draft class, take a lottery pick, and then make them the sixth or seventh scoring option. Because then there was no point in being in the draft in the first place, in the lottery, because you need to focus on making them the main priorities. Otherwise, they're not going to develop. I guarantee you, if we had Tatum on the team, he wouldn't develop the way he developed in Boston.
I okay.
Or Jalen Brown.
I don't think that's personally true because we've never had that pick be there when the Magic were selecting. And
But that's the thing.
and the three player draft, the Magic dropped number 4. That's how it's been this week.
But would Gordon, Vooch, and Fournier allow somebody else to come over and take over this team?
Yes. We saw Markel do it.
Okay, we saw Markel do it. What do we do with Chuma then? What do we do with his development?
This is the decision.
What about Ji? Ji won't be anything like Tatum if he continues to be the fifth or sixth scoring option.
You must have forgot how J.I. was looking in the bubble before he got hurt. What development is J.I. going to do if he's hurt? That's why this team looks so bad because they're injured, and you're watching the same veterans have to step up because they're the ones that stay healthy.
But offensive wise, if Ji was healthy, he wouldn't get as much shots off. He wouldn't be able to do his thing, go attack the basket at his will. Because every time I watch the offense, they're just giving it to Vooch. They're just giving it to Fournier. When do they take it for themselves, like a Tatum or a Brown or a Doncic or somebody else? Like when do you take it for yourself?
I honestly I've seen enough evidence of letting Markel take over, and I saw Jabby being more aggressive in the bubble. Fournier has admitted, but when Jonathan Isaac is ready, he called him the X factor when he's ready to be more aggressive, that it's Isaac. Fournier said this, and I've seen it with Markel. I've seen Isaac be more aggressive in the bubble. He looked great, and I'm a full believer that when the team is ready to give them the reins, they're going to do it. And we've seen them do it with Markel. Fournier went from being a Euro bro to playing off the ball. Now they're gonna play Nikola Vucevic, yes, because he's the best player, but he's not necessarily gonna be. They don't run the offense for him. They run it through him to put other guys in easier positions to score. Because as Jonathan Isaac at this point We've seen him play enough to know he doesn't have a pull-up three yet. We saw in the bubble developing it, and he did it, but unfortunately he got injured. So once players get out and the match and the only guys that are consistently healthy are those veterans, there's nothing that the franchise can do.
The only thing I want to see is our young guys develop. I don't want to see them develop in 7 to 8 years. I want to see them now because the longer we hold on to players like Fournier, Gordon, and Vooch, the longer it's going to take for those guys to develop and truly become the young stars of this team. I mean, like, I keep bringing up Tatum and Brown, but it's so, I get jealous thinking of what they're doing in Boston because, like, they have a system that focuses on them, makes the bench know their role, come in and do their thing, and then Brown, Tatum, and Walker do their thing.
Okay,
For us, we let Aaron Gordon, Fournier, and Vooch that haven't gotten it done in past years.
okay, I'm gonna
What
say
did that do in the 2018
this.
playoffs,
I'm gonna use
2019
Tuma.
playoffs?
I'm gonna use Tuma as an example because you keep on bringing him up. So Okiki has been someone who was on the minutes restriction to start the year as the mid, and we've seen him also try to take guys off the dribble, and he hasn't gotten it there yet. So yes, in order to win games, you're going to give them chances, which he had chances. We saw him hit a touchdown against Golden State. It's going to come. It just takes a little bit of time, especially with someone who hadn't played basketball in so long. And next year, don't expect Jonathan Isaac and Marco Fultz to come back like that because it's going to take time. It took Zach LaVine some time to took him about half a year to get it back in gear after his ACL injury. It's going to take time for you guys to remain healthy, and that's when you see the development.
I hope so because I don't want to see this team stay mediocre. And I feel like as long as management thinks Fournier, Gordon, and Vooch can be the main cornerstones, and people like Markel, J.I. Chuma, Bamba, whoever, Cole Anthony, whoever we could possibly draft in this year's lottery will be like the secondary third options. I don't want it to be like that. I want our young guys to be the leaders of this team, to be the main scoring options on this team. Because seeing Vooch put up 30 plus doesn't do it anymore. Seeing Fournier put up 20 plus doesn't even do it anymore. And yeah, we have an injured team right now. I get that, but it's not fun to watch Fournier put up 25 plus because it doesn't lead us into wins. It hasn't done it in the past. It's not going to do it now, especially with so many teams getting better. Probably Oladipo is going to join Miami in the offseason, and we're going to be stuck with the same core of Vooch, Gordon, and Fournier leading this team while we're just staying. Well, we don't do anything. We need to break it up. We have so much young talent. We put them in the starting lineup. We finally let them take over this franchise. Because forgetting about Vooch right now, as long as people like Fournier and Gordon are on this team, they're going to think it's okay to do whatever they want, to play however they want, and not let anyone else take over this team. I want to see Markel. I want to see J.I. be the leaders of this team next year. And you said it perfectly. They're not going to come back perfectly right away. It's going to take them some time. But I want to see them be the main focal point of this team. I'm done with Fournier. I'm done with Gordon. They got to go. Let the young guys take over. Let them run. Give them the keys to the Magic Kingdom. And let's go from there. With this year's lottery pick, hopeful lottery pick.
Okay, so I'm going to say two things, and then we're talking about a couple of the guys in the draft. Number one, without J.I., this team would be the fourth seed in the Eastern Conference right now. I'm just going to say that. And two, I think it's better to put these young guys and expand their role slowly as they play meaningful games instead of just throwing them in the fire, because that's what we did with Oladipo, and that did not work. Because don't pretend like we didn't try throwing them all into the fire. Because that didn't work.
Okay, but you saying playing in meaningful games, I get that. But what happens if we try and if we make the play-in tournament, get swept in the first round, then we accomplish nothing because we've lost a chance in the lottery. We basically did what we did to just get the 8th.
The lottery doesn't guarantee anything. The Zion and John Moran draft, New Orleans and Memphis jumped from 7 and 8 or 8 and 9 to 1 and 2.
That's a
New
chance we
York
gotta
had
take.
the number one chance, and they fell to 3. The lottery doesn't guarantee you anything, especially with the nuance.
But that's a chance we gotta take because we can't. The worst possible thing we can do, try and fight for the playoffs, get the 11th or 12th seed, miss out on the playoffs, miss out on the lottery. That could be the worst
Yes,
possible
I agree.
situation.
I agree with that, and I'm telling you right now, with how this team's playing and the schedule that's remaining, you don't got to worry about it. They're not going to compete for anything. This team's not healthy enough to compete. Their issues are glaring right now, and that's how it's going to be, especially before AG and Cole come back. And they're going to take a minute to get back into rhythm. At that point, it's going to be a wrap. So you don't got to worry about that. But under that same breath, it's going to be a starting level at the end of the year. When the Magic, remember when the Magic made the playoffs, it was Augustine, Fournier, J.I., A.G., and Vooch. The
When
following
2019? Oh yeah, 2019.
the following year, you entered another young guy to the starting lineup. J.I. was supposed to be there too, but he got hurt. And A.G. was supposed to be there too, but he got hurt. We were looking at a 60-40 of young guys compared to veterans. And it just happens to be that got hurt. So I've seen enough from the franchise to believe, and enough from Clifford to believe that he's going to put the young guys to play meaningful minutes once we prove they're ready.
That's the thing. We say he'll put the young guys in meaningful minutes.
And he's done
When
it.
the hell has he done that? He did that with Chuma Okeke once this year against the Golden State Warriors when he was actually doing something.
He has been closing out games.
Sorry.
Okeke has been closing out games. He's closed the last couple. And we've seen the last 2 years. The young guys have been starting. DJ got very quick. Markel took over the starting job from Augustine.
That's true. I don't know if I trust Cliff to make the young guys a priority. I don't know. Because he has improved. This whole Bamba situation truly pissed me off about Coach Cliff in ways I never thought I'd actually think about wanting him to be fired, but I've thought about that. He handled that situation horribly. Who knows if he even wants to play Bamba or if it's management forcing him to right now. I've lost faith in Cliff.
I'm going to say yes, Mo should have been played from the start as a second center, but it's also tough when the starting center is an all-star.
That's true. But when Bamba even plays well, he still takes him out. It's like nothing Bamba can do can keep him in the game.
Because the thing is, coaches and players play to win. They never play to tank. So you're going to go to your all-star center, and you don't want to see Mo play at the 4. You must remember what that looked like. Playing Mo at the 4. That was horrendous.
It was.
Watching Bamba try to guard power forwards, that was not pretty.
But nowadays, Magic fans will just say any Bamba content we can get. He barely plays until recently. Even on a day where he was playing amazing, he only logged in 13 minutes.
Only 14 minutes. But again, it really is tough when Vooch is the one that's ahead of him. Yeah, it'd be different if we're having this conversation and Chuma's only playing 14 and Gary Clark's playing like 30. But that's not the case. So it's just tough that Vooch is the one that's ahead of him.
I mean, Coach did do something right. He took Gary Clark out of the rotation, so I guess I'll give him that. So,
all right. So let's move on to the draft before we wrap this up. So the main guys I've been looking at have been Jalen Green. I don't know, maybe a Cade Cunningham, but more Jalen Green as the number 1 prospect, and Jonathan Kuminga. To me, a wing, a 3 and a 4. And if you draft him, that's when you're ready to move on from AG, or make an agreement that after this contract you're taking lesser pay and you're not going to be a starter anymore. Or if not, you just move on, because I think Kuminga has a lot of the same attributes as J.I., a capable shooter and a great defender with versatility. I'm not ready to go into the Mobley boat. It's not because he's a bad player. It's because I'm not ready to give up on Mo. And if we take another rookie center, I'm not ready to go through this long dance of watching him not play over Birch.
So I haven't really seen Jonathan Kuminga's highlights, so far. I've only seen Jalen Green's and Cade Cunningham's highlights. They both look like shooting guards, so I think so, right? Are they shooting guards?
Cade's a combo guard.
Okay.
Cade's more of a 1
So
and 2. Green's more of a 2 and 3. So that's what
Jalen
that's what they play.
Jalen Green, he I'd say Cade Cunningham has more talent, if I'm being honest, just from the few highlights we've seen so far.
This is the thing about Jalen Green and Jonathan Kuminga, especially. Instead of playing in college, they're playing G League talent right now.
G League, yeah.
So it's more
It's harder.
better competition. So I'm more intrigued in them.
True.
Because of the higher comp. So I think once they get in here next year, if the Magic are lucky enough to draft one of those two, then the jump from the college to NBA is going to be easier from G League to NBA. Especially
what position does Jonathan play?
Huh?
What position does Jonathan play?
Jonathan plays a 3 and a 4. They're on the same.
Oh, bro, we don't need another 3 and the 4.
This is what I'm saying.
We don't need another log jam.
This is what I'm saying. If the Magic draft Kuminga, that's AG's out the window. That's what that's.
What about Chuma?
Again, you have the decision to make because you don't want to have a great starting five and a horrible bench.
That's true. I have no problem
with having Terrence Ross is not going to be the sixth man forever.
Mm-hmm. I have no problem with having young talent come off the bench, but I want as much young talent as we can on our starting lineup.
Yeah, that's what you're going to be looking at, an Isaac Kuminga Okiki forward slot.
So I'm just thinking from the highlights I've seen so far, Jalen Green looks more impressive while Cade Cunningham just looks like his talent's better. It's more, I won't say polished, but he can just kind of do more things.
Don't get me wrong. I don't want Jalen Green in Orlando. He looks, when he shot 5% from the other yard and he did the step back,
3, yeah.
That's the shooting guard.
That's true. I wouldn't mind any one of those guys, Cade or Jalen. But I feel like those are from what I've seen so far, there's obviously other prospects.
Of course,
but from what I've seen,
Christopher, Orlando, yeah, there's a lot of this draft that looks starting to look like it's gonna be a really good draft, but it's time for the Mets to get lucky, get a top end.
Do we not believe Cole can play the 2 beside Markel?
Okay. So yes, that is a possibility. Yes, that's why you create competition between them guys. You drafted Jalen Green. Markel's likely to be your starting one because he's more of a playmaker, more than Cole. So then you have Green and Cole battle out for the 2. You know Cole's not gonna back down to anyone. So it's gonna be great to see who wins that spot. And then you have another great guy that comes off the bench. That not necessarily have to play like a 10-minute bench guy can be played 20 to 25 minutes as the major guard, or if you take Jonathan Kuminga, the major backup wing that plays the majority of the backup minutes on the wing.
So I like that thinking. Make the guards compete for those starting spots between one of the 2 guards in the drafter and Cole. My only I just don't want there to be any problems between Cole and whoever we draft, because I feel like we shouldn't risk putting anyone in bad chemistry with somebody. I feel like Clifford and Bamba already have horrible chemistry after what's happened so far.
Okay, so with that conversation, why do you want Cade Cunningham? Because you don't have that problem with Markel Fultz. Whoever why don't you draft the top end guy? That's what's gonna happen.
That is true, but like you said, there's other players in this draft like power forwards or centers. Okay, no, let's not go centers. Sorry, 3 and 4s, right? Mm-hmm. In the lottery, are there?
Yes, Jonathan Kuminga, again, a top end. He's one of the top end guys, I believe.
So say we get Jonathan, then I could roll with the lineup with both Cole, Jonathan, J.I. Bomb. I'm gonna just say Bamba because I want to say Bamba. I'm not saying Ruch and Bamba. I've seen. Do you remember that summer league where Bamba and Isaac played together?
Yeah.
Because the defense was
Bamba played a whole 1 game.
I was like, those 2 together could be amazing defensively. I
Right.
mean, we'll see, we'll see. But
Exactly.
I say we draft as high as we can. We do whatever we can to get a high pick. If we fall out of the lottery, make a trade to
Again,
get higher up.
even if you win the lottery, not necessarily gonna make the pick. That you can use as the number one asset for on all out trade for a star.
Who realistically could we get though? If you just have
That
to throw a name out there.
it's all timing when another star is upset and wants to be somewhere else.
That's
And then
true.
and the number one pick is very valuable in a trade like that.
So if you were the Magic GM, who are you drafting today?
Jim.
Jalen. Yeah, I've seen Jalen Green's highlights. I like him. He's nice.
But
He has that
between
hardened step
those,
back almost.
I'd be perfectly happy with Kaminga.
With
To
who?
me, it's Green or Kaminga.
Okay.
Cade
Yeah.
in my opinion, Cade is good.
I feel like any one of those
I
guys would
think a
be
lot
great.
of it has to do with the fact that they're playing G League instead of college.
That's true. Hey man, I just want a nice young person out of this year's draft class. And I don't want to get caught in the middle of trying to make the playoffs and tanking. Because then if you get caught in the middle, you're not
All I
gonna get
want
it.
is From Orlando is to pick. Just pick. If you're gonna go for the playoff, show me at the deadline you're gonna do that by addressing something. Or if you're not, just move on from Evan and just go in the opposite direction.
Because I was thinking maybe you package AG, Evan Fournier, Birch for Porzingis. Maybe.
Why would Dallas do that?
Here's the thing: they get another shooter in Evan Fournier. Okay, they get AG, who's better than Dwight Powell, who's better than Maxi Kleber, and those guys.
Just at that point, you just left that starting caliber center.
That's true, but bro, bringing someone like Porzingis I want to see a blockbuster trade from the Magic front office because they've been so conservative with how they do things. I want to see their ability to go make the necessary moves.
I don't know if it's gonna come out or not, but I'm curious to know what value Dallas was getting around the league when they were discussing these trades.
I don't, because I heard that Porzingis' agents, who are his brothers, are almost like a cancer. So I feel like a lot of people view Porzingis' value as not as high.
I don't think it has to do with that. I think it has more to do with the fact that he can't stay healthy.
That's true. I mean, Jay, I can't really stay healthy.
Personally wants to bring it to this organization with our recent luck.
I mean, Jay, I can't really stay healthy. So I mean, it's not like we're new to injuries or anything.
But I wouldn't personally be against Porzingis. But again, I'm not overpaying for Kristaps. For that reason of he can't stay healthy, as a group he can stay healthy.
I just feel like his value. I feel like AG, Evan Fournier, Birch the value could be high, a return value.
I don't know about that. I don't know how the values are, especially with when we got offered for AG over the summer with Trevor Ariza.
Trevor Ariza, I saw that.
I don't think the trade value is that high.
I mean, hey, some team is gonna be desperate enough to give in. Because I just want to see them make a trade. They don't. I want to see that they have that Danny Ainge in them to go out there and make a move when it's necessary. You know what I mean? Because we don't really see Magic do anything big.
But what move has Danny Ainge made? Because the reason the Celtics are where they're not because Danny Ainge.
I mean, he traded KG, Paul Pierce for all those Brooklyn picks.
But how long are you gonna be against that?
I mean,
other than that, because they lost Kyrie for nothing, they lost Horford for nothing, and they lost Hayward for nothing.
That's true, but they have Tatum and Brown though.
But they drafted well because they were put in position to draft well. But again, in terms of trades, other than that big trade, Boston hasn't done it really major in the trade market. Danny Ainge is the reason, in my opinion, the Celtics are struggling because he hasn't given Brad Stevens. He's losing Brad Stevens pieces without being able to give him back pieces.
Or even maybe like a Sam Presti in OKC. Look what he traded. He traded Paul George. All those picks, man. I mean,
Sam Presti is ability to make moves has been astonishing, and he's
That's
on.
what I mean. I want the Magic to show the fans they can do it. They can make necessary
Don't
moves.
make a trade to just make a trade.
Yeah, I agree with you. Don't make a trade that just make a trade. But they should be on the phones right now. Call
I think they are.
anybody they can.
I honestly think they are.
I'd like to hope so. I mean, you're in Orlando, so maybe you know something you can't really share with me.
Oh, no,
But I mean,
I don't know. I don't know a thing.
maybe your sources are telling you
I
something.
honestly don't know a thing. But I'm just speaking on the fact that the Magic are on the wrong side of the Eastern Conference standing. I personally think that Fournier and Birch might be gone after that one.
I hope so. I hope Birch is gone. I have respect for him. He's played well this year. He hasn't
I
played
just
well
don't
in
think
recent games.
I don't think Orlando is gonna want to pay Birch the money because he's especially been playing great this year. And I think Birch is ready to go look for a role that's gonna be more stable.
Hey, I hope the best for Fournier and Birch. You heard it right here from Omar. They're gone.
Okay,
Wish and hope them the best. Hope and wish them the best. But there's just some players who don't have a future with this team. So just try and package them all together and see what you can get in return. I'm not saying you're gonna get equal value, but just call other NBA GMs. Try and test the waters and see the value for some of your players. If something's there, take it. Like you said, if it's not there, don't force it. But they have to try. They have to try and do something.
I honestly think they are trying. And I think what's gonna happen, we'll see at the deadline. Because I think our manager is also waiting to see if this team turns it around before the deadline, because we start like about a month from it. And I think at that point.
Because I know you saw the report about the Magic possibly trading Aaron Gordon and Evan Fournier. You saw that report?
Yeah.
And I'm like, how many times do we need to see this annual trade rumor? Just make it happen for once. But if it's not there, don't force it.
I honestly don't think AG's gone the deadline. You're probably looking at a lot of the expiring deals gone.
True. But I mean, I'm sick and tired of not seeing this front office do anything. You know what I mean? They got lucky with Fall. They really did, because nobody was going to take a chance on him, and we did. So I give them respect for that. But now, years later, they got to do something else now, because we can't continue the way we are. Yeah, we have injuries, but they know damn well we have the hardest schedule remaining. Like you said, we're probably not going to be in the play-in tournament or playoffs. Make a trade, do something, because right now it just ain't working.
Yeah, I fully expect it to be. I fully expect it. But yeah,
they're on the hot seat right now. They're on the hot seat. I don't think their jobs are safe. If Alex Martins is actually, if he actually wants to win, he's got to make.
I think Alex Martins backing out after he ruined what he did.
Hey man, after 2030, if we win the championship, I think he'll retire. He wants to win a championship by 2030. That's. I mean, I wish we had an owner like Steve Ballmer, who's really into winning and would do anything it took to win. But I mean, we really don't with Alex Martins. So we just gotta rely on management to do.
I don't know. I think Martin forced trade happened. That necessarily wasn't smart, but he made trades just to make trades.
I'm just hoping this front office does something before the deadline.
Yeah, we'll see.
You know, we'll see. I guess when's the deadline? I think a month from now or something.
Sometime late March.
But we'll see. We'll see in these upcoming weeks what happens.
Yeah. All right. Other than that, Orlando played Atlanta and Dallas this week before the All-Star break. I see a lot of 0-2 coming.
Hey man, if we're lucky, 2-0.
I hope they
your face.
I hope they split. I hope they split. But we'll see.
Yeah. In all honesty, they probably will go 0-2. I hope we go 0-2. I don't want to lose games, but I mean, you either win to win or you tank to tank. You can't choose both. So I hope we tank. I'm sorry. I hope we tank. I know you said the lottery, like the odds aren't the same, but you can only hope at this point. It can't get worse.
That's true. It can't get worse.
It can't get worse.
All right. That's gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me, bro. Appreciate it.
His links will be in the description. See you guys next time. Peace out.
Peace.